why every major rapper sounds like a broken record about death, drugs, and flexing fake success?
All these day-to-day expenses. How are people making it?
The classic zombie used to eat brains.
Appears to be a gigantic mothership over California. Now, in the video,
Welcome back, everybody, and thank y'all so much for coming back and spending a little bit more time with me. I really appreciate y'all being here. So if you get a chance, go ahead and hit that like button. Helps move the channel, and comments, they help as well. Now, y'all know how I roll. First, we got to kick this off with a few words of that good old motivation.
Always remember this. Life feels the hardest when you're about to reach a new level. The challenges you face are there to push you, to help you grow stronger. It's easy to feel discouraged, but remember, every struggle is a sign that you're close to something greater. Keep going, don't give up, because the toughest times lead to the biggest breakthroughs.
Now that we all feeling good about ourselves, let's kick off that chapter 1.
Welcome to Sax Reacts, to this theater we call the world. So step inside and enjoy the show.
Obviously, I don't know what none of that said, but it was interesting to me. My search was for UFO stuff, so when that came up in Chinese, I assume that's supposed to be UFO related stuff, but that might be missiles being shot down by missiles. I really don't know, but I liked it, so I put it in there with the rest of my UFO stuff. Let's go.
I'm recording it. What the hell is that? I'm recording it. What the hell is
that? More amazing alien videos are coming out of California. Now, the video I'm going to show you, a lady captured what appears to be a gigantic mothership over California. Now, in the video, you'll hear her say, "Don't worry, this is not AI," since that happens to be the only comment that usually comes on these videos where people are kind of freaked out about seeing them. They're like, oh, it's AI, but it's not AI. It's literally what appears to be a gigantic mothership just hovering above her. Check the video out. It's pretty awesome.
This is not AI, in case anybody's wondering.
You can tell the shape of the cloud is completely different. The lights are moving in a weird pattern. It looks like a mothership. Now, I left her tag, the original creator, because her video is much longer, so you can watch the full version other than the 10 seconds I posted. But I keep saying, the motherships are showing up, the aliens are showing up, nothing's gonna stop it. So tell me what you think. This is awesome news, but yeah, motherships, they're here.
Hey guys, I heard you really wanted some In-N-Out. Don't worry, the wait is almost over. I've got plenty of our tasty burgers. Do you guys want one? Come by and see me. Let me know in the comments what you want to see in our next commercial. Let's make this one special. See you soon.
The reason that they came to our schools and showed us exactly what every drug looks like, exactly how you use it, and exactly what kind of effects it will give you, and also made sure that we knew that the cool kids would be doing it. That's because they wanted us to do drugs so that they could profit off of our rehabilitation and or incarceration.
And my belief is she's 1,000% correct on that. And I remember that too, so vividly. Like when Derek came into our school, they came in with the old photograph book, the old plastic sheets, and then underneath in the photo album, underneath all the plastic sheets, they'd have the different drugs lined up in there with marked what it was and all lined up in there. Then they had the little case with all the little different paraphernalia. And she's absolutely right. Like, the drugs weren't even on our mind. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Way back then. But they sure did introduce it to us. And I remember as a kid having a lot of questions after that. You know what I'm saying? Curiosity about stuff. She's right. That's exactly why they did that. And I also couldn't help but to notice her little apparent cocaine sniffle right after she got done giving that speech. That was funny. All right, let's roll.
China recently released footage of the Tianzhao 9 scraping upon the firmament. Now, that statement that I just made, you probably think that I'm a little bit crazy. But just look at the comparison. The top video is literally a boat driving around on the water, and the ripple effects that it's creating is looking just like what the Tianzhao 9 is creating while it's flying around in the heavens above. Yeah, so Tianzhao quite literally translates to heavenly ship, and 9 is associated with the polarity in a torus field. Nikola Tesla's 369. It's really complex stuff. I honestly don't fully understand it, but 9 is the polarity, which would be Polaris in the torus field that we live on, called Earth. Yeah, so the rocket is scraping on the firmament, and they're quite literally telling us with the name of the ship itself. And if you don't believe me, literally look at the trajectory of the rocket. It's following an arched trajectory. And why do they call the cold zones of the thing that we live on the Arctic? Dome, firmament. I asked ChatGPT why it looks like rockets are scraping the firmament, and this is what it said. The space jellyfish, the spirals, domes of light, are ionization in the high voltage dielectric barrier. Some insiders and leaked footage suggest rockets can't penetrate past a certain altitude. They burst, veer, or explode near or at this energetic shell. It's not glass, it's not metal, it's something far more advanced. A frequency-sealed boundary that separates this contained energetic system with what lies beyond. The waters above are a superfluid ether/primordial plasma. So it's not H2O like we know it, it's hyperdimensional conscious liquid energy. So it's essentially water in plasma form. It's highly energized, and it's moving in between the physical and the metaphysical. Because when you're dreaming, you're in the astral realm. Well, how does that manifest into the physical? Well, it does it through the stars, through the primordial plasma that this is talking about. Yeah, so are we making this up? I don't think so. I think NASA are the people making things up. Anywho, this video is for entertainment purposes only, and I have no idea what I'm talking about. Please don't ban me. Please don't ban me.
You've heard the myths, right? Yeah. Antarctica, like the whole world is outside Antarctica.
Oh, wow. Wait, what? I never heard that.
I'll show you. It's actually funny. So we have time to kill everything that we know, and then past Antarctica, there's like other colonies.
How it's like a flat sheet?
It's
just past that.
Well, it doesn't have to be flat. I mean, the thing is, the only treaty that's never been disputed by any policy, like any foreign policy, has been the Antarctic Treaty. You can't fly past, like beyond or like go close to Antarctica.
You can fly there from South Africa. You can actually take a flight down to Antarctica, yeah?
That's possible? Is the fly pat like through Antarctica? Like
through it? I don't know. What do you mean through it? Like over them?
Over it, basically. Yeah, over it, basically.
Yeah, I have no idea.
They said it's not flat, but I think it's flat.
I think it's flat.
The Earth is flat.
Fam, y'all know me. Y'all know I'm all about the flat earth. It's the only thing that makes sense. I mean, everything about the flat earth actually makes sense. Everything about the globe earth definitely does not make sense. And it's all unprovable. That's kind of a big deal.
To run the official flat earth and globe discussion. When we were deleted by Facebook, we had allegedly 155,000 members. We did not allow cursing or insults at all. We had 100 moderators from all over the flat earth, and the group still got deleted. Shortly after, my Instagram was deleted. Shortly after that, my YouTube was deleted. I've been kicked off Skype, Venmo, my Yahoo account was erased. Now you got to ask yourself, if flat earth is so stupid, why are they censoring it? Why does YouTube go in front of Congress and say, we're censoring topics like flat earth? So truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but in the end, there it is. And you can lead a globe earther to flat water, but you cannot make them think critically about the shape of the earth. Fluid static state, when a large body of water is at rest, the surface is level and horizontal to its container, and the sky is a map and a clock. I'm surprised they would try and use celestial navigation to prove we're on a spinning ball in space with all the heavenly objects gravitating toward one another from an explosion of nothing. I mean, that's your religion, guys. And you're over here saying, the sky's a perfect map and a clock, and we use it to navigate the oceans. You use triangulation, which uses a triangle, which has straight, flat sides. And you're trying to tell us the Earth's a globe with triangulation using straight lines? Are you guys joking? Okay? You can't demonstrate water adhering to the outside of a spinning ball. You can't demonstrate a gravitational orbit at all using the scientific method. You can't demonstrate gas pressure next to a vacuum without a container. You guys really have nothing, to be honest. And the problem with celestial navigation on a ball in space orbiting the sun is that every 6 months, we're on the other side of the sun. We should see a completely different night sky, but year round, we see things like the Big Dipper, Orion's Belt, the Little Dipper, and contrary to the globe Earth claims, those are all fixed constellations. I mean, you guys think celestial navigation proved you're on a globe. When they came up with celestial navigation, they didn't even think the Earth was a globe. For example, the Mayans had built a pyramid, El Castillo, in the Yucatan Peninsula, and it was between the 9th and 12th century, and the structure can be used as a calendar and is noted for astronomical alignments. For 1,200 years, this pyramid's been lining up to the sky. Now, the pyramids in Egypt do that. Stonehenge, which was recently torn down, did that. I did the astroarchaeology myself and took the evidence myself. I went there, took a time lapse of Polaris through a hole that was drilled 40 years ago, and it's still there. Polaris means pole star. You don't get a pole star on a globe Earth tilted, wobbling, orbiting around the sun that's flying through the Milky Way galaxy at 1.3 million miles an hour. That's ludicrous. So hopefully you can demonstrate the three things I mentioned earlier. One of the problems you forgot in your opening is that mountains and objects change angular size as they get farther away from you. So when you stand on a really long hallway, the ceiling, which is above your head, will appear to drop down towards eye level. It's called perspective. I mean, we've been doing this for 8 years and Globers still haven't figured out the perspective thing. How pathetic. I know my teammate needed a little extra time, so I'm gonna cut it short. I'm not even gonna go into my slides, not even go into my presentation. We see way too far. You can't demonstrate gas pressure next to a vacuum without a container. Go look at the NASA bloopers. There's hundreds of videos of them with CGI, wires, green screen, harnesses, augmented reality, people ghosting in and out of screen. I mean, and you can test it yourself. This is the good news, ladies and gentlemen. It's 2023. We have high power zoom cameras and telescopes that you don't have to point up at the sky. You could point them horizontally over large bodies of water. I've done this at Lake Michigan, Lake Pontchartrain, the Atlantic Sea, the Atlantic Ocean, pardon me, all over Utah. I went to South Korea and did long distance observations and spoke at a conference there. The Earth is not a globe. I don't want the Earth to be flat either. I would actually prefer if it was a globe. It'd just be one less thing the government, mind control organization would be lying about, to be honest. And NASA wouldn't be stealing $60 million a day of your money. So if you could, go ahead, Brian, take it away.
And everybody is rightfully entitled to their own opinion. Cast no judgment over here. Whatever it is, but I do want to know, just out of curiosity down in the comments, what side of that argument do you stand on? Let me know. 1 for globe, 2 for flat earth.
I have another map to look at. You can see it's of Tartary, and this would be modern day Russia. And the spot I want to look at is up here in the corner. So here's the area I want to look at. It's Tinduk, and it's right next to the Strait of Anian, or today they call it the Bering Strait. There's America right over there. But Tinduk, if you'll see right here on the map, it says, a kingdom where Christians reigned in the year I-290. So when in our history have we had a kingdom where Christians reigned? And you also see there's castles everywhere. Another interesting thing to point out is you'll see here you have Gog, and right here Magog. The Bible tells us of a time when Christians will reign here on earth. In Revelation 20 verse 4 it says, and I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus and for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. And here's another map of the exact same area. Again, modern day Russia. This is on this map, Tartary. Same area we're going to look at, just in a different language. So here it is, Tinduk, and it's translated up above. The kingdom in which Christians ruled at the time of St. Paul, J 290. Again, when in our history have we had a time where Christians had kingdoms and where St. Paul was a ruler? I have one more map, and if you'll notice, the title of this one is Christianography, and right up here is Tinduk. So here's Tinduk, and just below it, you'll see it says many Christians, and the surrounding areas have the same thing. Some Christians. Here's Tartaria, Asia, some Christians. All over this map, you see populations of Christians. The more you look at the evidence, the more it shows that this event here, the 1,000-year reign of Christ and his saints, has already happened. And I believe that we are now here in the little season of Satan when he's been loosed from his prison. In Revelation 20, verse 7 says, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. I believe that's where we're at now. When Satan goes out to deceive the nations, he's deceiving them that Christ and the saints have already come. And I have many reasons why I believe that we are in Satan's little season. Number one reason, the scriptures support it. And then there's many other evidences that support this, which I'll be getting into in other videos. Again, I hope this is helpful to you and been a blessing and helps you to understand our true past.
He did bring up a lot of solid points. So any of you people that are really deep into the scriptures, real knowledgeable on that. Let me know what you think about his take on that, and if you agree with his observation, and if you think that that's already happened.
Why every major rapper sounds like a broken record about death, drugs, and flexing fake success? It's conditioning. In 1991, a secret meeting happened. Record executives, private prison investors, one goal: make chaos profitable. Glorify crime, glorify addiction, create broken minds, fill prisons, get paid. That's why empowering music vanished. That's why conscious rap got blacklisted. Because healed minds don't make money for the system. They sold you rebellion, but only the kind that leads to self-destruction. This isn't art, it's mental warfare. But here's the truth. If they can program your mind to self-destruct, then you can reprogram it to rise. You are not broken, you are programmed. And you can rewrite that code. Comment code for access to a tool that reprograms your mind effortlessly.
Does someone want to explain what the hell is going on here? Why isn't this the top story of every single media outlet? Why isn't every single politician screaming from the rooftops about this? The executive director.
So I'm just going to let you guys know ahead of time, I won't be doing very much talking over these next several clips due to the topic at hand. Probably shouldn't even have these clips in here. So keep my fingers crossed I don't get dinged over the head for having them in here. But I think it's extremely important content that absolutely needs to be out there. So I'm giving it a shot, but I'm not going to be putting my 2 cents in much over the next, I don't know, 3, 4, maybe 5 clips. So if I seem real quiet, that's why.
Of Israel's National Cyber Directorate was arrested in Las Vegas in a child predator ring sting. He worked under Netanyahu, so he was allowed to go back to Israel without trial. The Israeli government lied and said he wasn't actually arrested. Then what the fuck is this? So this Israeli guy, who's one of the top officials under Netanyahu for national cybersecurity for the Israeli regime and AI for defense, is a child predator. American media is totally ignoring this. How much you want to bet Aaron Parnas is not going to cover this? Nevada's Internet Crime Against Children Task Force helmed an operation which resulted in the arrest of Alexandrovich and 7 other men in the city of Henderson, which is near Las Vegas. All the suspects believed they were meeting minors when the undercover officers instead confronted and arrested them. So Nevada officials actually did all the work to do this sting on this guy, on this Israeli cybersecurity official, Tom Alexandrovich, arrested him, charged him, he made bail, and then he fled the country to the Israeli regime. And then the Israeli regime said it was no big deal and lied and said that he wasn't charged. Why did the Trump administration allow this to happen? Where's Pam Bondi? I saw this meme last night before I even knew this story. But it's literally that. Pam Bondi's spending her time going after some random guy who threw a Sammy at a police officer. But you don't have anything to say about this? You don't have anything to say about this, Pam Bondi, Attorney General Pam Bondi. Where's the Trump administration? Where are you, MAGA? I thought you guys cared about this. No, not only are you not getting the Epstein list, they're actively, currently helping predators escape the country. Maybe you guys should ask them why that is and why no one's talking about it.
I gotta be careful the way I say this. They're gonna try to ethnically cleanse Gaza. Yep. I mean, that's, and I don't use that term lightly, okay? They're talking about basically removing 2.5 million people from there, okay? And honestly, they have a mandate to go seek justice and revenge. They do. This idea that they need to have a truce or a peace treaty, that's morally crap after you see women and children be burned alive and dragged to the streets. But there are some serious questions here, Patrick. And let me tell you, my pattern recognition over the last 5 years has become pretty sharp. COVID, Maui fires, Epstein. When I see a story and it doesn't click, our guts are usually right.
Yeah, so I made that video earlier. Now you just seen this clip. There was also another clip that's because a lot of these clips of him speaking out against certain things and making his own observation over the past couple months, they're starting to resurface. And of course, I had never seen any of them. There was this one that I just watched with him and Megyn Kelly, and he again states, you know, that he has support for a certain place, but also that he is questioning and he is observing something similar to a certain time in Germany. And he also states in that video how he's an American citizen, Megyn Kelly, like, we're Americans, but somehow I feel more censored here as an American, that I'm not allowed to talk or say certain things about certain people somewhere else. It just makes you question. It's really,
I'm obliged to take the floor to respond to some comments. The representative of Israel perhaps did not listen attentively to all council members and other speakers in today's debate. And in our view, it is unacceptable, indeed ludicrous, for an aggressor, an occupier, a serial violator of UN Charter and international law, that is Israel, to abuse this chamber and disrespect the sanctity of this council. And this is not the first time. And by pointing fingers on others, baseless assertions primarily aimed at masking its own illegal actions and violations of international law. President, but that's not at all surprising. It is an occupier that does not listen to anyone, that does not pay heed to any advice, even from its friends, if there are any left, that refutes, and not just refutes, it threatens members of the international community, international media, international human rights and humanitarian organizations, doesn't listen to the ICJ or the ICC, and threatens the UN and its senior officials. And it does that with impunity, shielded by its apologists who time and again acquiesce in its illegal actions and defiance of the international community. And like all occupiers, despite being the aggressor, it feigns and plays the victim. But today it is totally exposed. President, this council has spent decades discussing the situation in the Middle East and the Palestinian question. Meeting after meeting, we devote hours to this agenda. It is not because of anyone else. It is because of Israel that refuses to vacate its illegal occupation, and that blatantly violates the resolutions of this council. It's because of that we have these discussions. Israel also chose to refer to an unrelated incident and make misleading remarks regarding Pakistan in an effort to justify its own illegal actions and violations of international law. Pakistan's position on that incident has been clearly stated and is publicly available. The international community is well aware of Pakistan's frontline role and sacrifices in the international community's fight against terrorism. The entire world, including our partners acknowledge that Al-Qaeda was largely decimated due to Pakistan's counterterrorism efforts. And we remain committed in this global, collective endeavor. We cannot accept insinuations from an irresponsible rogue state that is, in fact, the perpetrator of worst kind of state terrorism that we are witnessing in Gaza and, in fact, in the occupied Palestinian territories for decades. And we reject any false analogy, as has also been done by Gaddafi. For whatever way it interprets the statements in this council, the occupying power must go back and read carefully the statement issued by the Security Council today.
You want to know the real reason why Paramount CBS is paying $200 million for Barry Weiss's blog? It's so you don't see segments like this ever again.
We create a pretend world. We are a global production company. We write the screenplay. We're the directors. We're the producers. We're the main actors. The world is our stage.
This is Mossad's old office. Its motto from Proverbs 24:6 says in so many words, wage war through deception and trickery.
I have no idea how that was ever allowed to air on CBS 60 Minutes, but it was. But no more, because the new owner of CBS's parent company, David Ellison and his father Larry, are fully devoted to the state of Israel. In fact, they are Israel's biggest U.S. donor. Quote, Ellison himself has personally bankrolled the Israeli Defense Forces, giving tens of millions of dollars to the Friends of the IDF, an organization that purchases equipment for the Israeli military. And for those of you who don't know or are not that familiar with the Free Press, what they're really good at, what they specialize in, is putting out these pro-Israel pieces with a quote-unquote intellectual lens, like this one that denies that any sort of famine is going on in Gaza. And that's why they want to pay her $200 million to lead CBS News. Glenn Greenwald, the so-called Free Press, is engaged in one of the most blatant campaigns of atrocity denials seen in years. That's why the Ellison family, now buying Paramount CBS, wants Barry Weiss there, in service of the foreign government they are all desperate to protect and whitewash. The more you know, the more you know.
The Star of David, where does that symbol come from?
It's never written explicitly in the Bible itself.
Is it in the Talmud? Is there a passage in the Bible about that or no?
No.
Okay. So you're not really sure exactly where that comes from?
No. You got me.
Is it nobody knows, huh?
I don't know. I'm not, yeah.
Because I know it's called the Star of David.
Yeah.
Does it have anything to do with David?
No, I don't think so. There must be somewhere. I do not remember exactly what the association was.
Okay. I believe that what they call the Star of David is actually the Star of Remphan. Because when you study the Bible, you'll see that when they worshipped other gods, the Bible talks about them carrying the banner of the star of their god Remphan.
You rejected the God of the Bible. You took up for yourself the star, that's the six-point star, of your God, called Remphan or Kiyun. All these were names for Moloch, the great Baal, the great fire god, who was the devil.
Beelzebub.
That's right, Beelzebub. And they were shocked about this. Now, who is this star god? If they only read the Old Testament, they would know this. In Amos, God said, you have taken up the star, and you've made me furious by doing that. And you have actually sacrificed your own children to the star god through the fires. They sacrificed their own children, the Jews did, to the star god.
When they worshipped a false god, they had the Star of Remphan as an icon and as a symbol. We never see a Star of David in Scripture, but the star of the false god Remphan. And so we know today that they are not worshiping the true God, because the Bible says, he that denieth the Son, the same hath not the Father. But he that acknowledgeth the Son hath the Father also. If the Jews do not believe on the Son, the Bible says they don't have the Father. So who do they have? Somebody else, a false god. Therefore, they're not worshiping the same God that we worship. Some people will say, oh, they worship God the Father, they just don't acknowledge Jesus. But the Bible teaches that it's impossible to worship the Father if you don't acknowledge the Son.
You get back to the Masonic fraternity of Freemasonry.
Yeah.
Their great symbol is G. You'll look at the star on the compass, which is a stylized Star of David. In fact, they have the entire Star of David in many Masonic temples. Why is that? Masonry is a study of Judaism and of the Kabbalah.
Do it. You know what? Do something. You have half the people that voted for you mildly happy with the job that you're doing in hopes that things are getting better. Then you pop up sitting at the same table as Bill Gates, so anybody with any kind of sense knows that humanity still ain't safe. And now Charlie? Then you have half, if not the majority of your voters, clinging to the last little bits of hope that they have, that there's some kind of master plan going on behind the scenes. But it all can't be revealed at once. It has to be slow to save the mental health of the world. Well, Donnie, I just watched a man that was essentially on the road because of your campaign get popped in the neck in 4K. So what now? How much do you think people are gonna take before they start retaliating? And then what? We're all locked in our basements because we're too scared to go outside? Or was that the plan all along? I'm really getting sick of this, and I know I'm not alone in that. So if you got some kind of trick up your sleeve, now would be a good time, because by the day, you're starting to look like just another cast member in the show. Stay safe.
1000% facts. He is definitely looking more and more like part of the cast in this big old show that we call the world. All right, y'all. It is time for that intermission. We halfway through the show, so let's catch us a quick show. All right, my lovely people, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that little intermission. Now, chapter 3.
Bro, how are people making it? If you making $30 an hour, it's weird to ask that, but how are you making it? After you pay your rent, $1,500 a month, that's on the low side. Car note, $500 a month. Phone bill, $100 a month. Insurance, gas, food, electricity, health insurance, all these day-to-day expenses. how are people making it? You do the math, and you come back and tell me what the numbers look like for you. Because a person can make $30 an hour and is going to struggle. I can only imagine making $15 an hour. You cannot live on that. No, you cannot. You cannot convince me otherwise. You cannot live on $15 or $30 an hour, or you're gonna stay broke. Convince me different.
Yesterday, my tenant called me to let me know that he's going to be applying and probably taking a job back home. And the level of like sheer just, what the fuck am I going to do? So I bought a townhouse in South Pasadena, but like South Pasadena, early 2021 when I had a job in LA. I was the VP of marketing. Then I went on to be head of growth. So like I was making enough money to offset it. My mortgage plus HOA is $3,000 a month. And I texted my real estate agent. She was like, do you want to move back in? Baby, I can't afford to live in my own house. No. Let's go ahead and find another renter.
But if you think about a zombie, zombies wasn't just eating flesh. This is some new movie shit. Forget all the new movies. Let's just break down a basic zombie. A zombie is a person that's living, but they're dead, but they eat brains. Original zombies ate brains. Now all this new 28 days later shit, this some other day. They got zombies running and all that. That's new. But zombies originally ate brains. But think about the concept of a zombie. Other zombies still got their brains. I mean, other zombies don't have their brains because they ate your brain. So why zombies don't eat each other? Because they're on the same frequency. They don't see each other as living. They only see each other as dead. Now ask yourself, why ignorant motherfuckers are not a problem? Why are they so comfortable around each other? Because their frequency, their level of existence is not threatened. They see each other as dead. A nigga like me walk in the room, now here come the Hotep guy. Now here come the Black Power guy. Now I'm making motherfuckers uncomfortable now. And all I did was walk in the room with an uncle and I ain't even saying shit. Why? Because I'm disturbing that 25 megahertz frequency. And I'm coming in here with my anywhere between 72 to 90 range megahertz frequency and I'm disturbing you. And so now you have to do what? What your brain told you to do. Eliminate me. Attack me. And this is why most people attack the positive aspects of their own people. It's not just black people, it's white people too. You got plenty of white people that's intelligent, inspiring, and they get attacked by other white people.
Dude, man, come on, man. We need you back, brother. We need you back.
America is cracking, and you can hear it in the silence of people's minds. We are living through the biggest mental health crisis that this country has ever seen. Not because people suddenly became weaker, not because these generations are just too soft, but because survival itself has become unaffordable. It costs too much to exist here. The rent eats your paycheck, the groceries rob you blind, the gas, the water bill, the light bill keeps going up month after month after month, but your wages stay the same. The medical bills bury you alive. The student loans chase you into the grave. And even something as simple as eating 3 meals a day becomes a luxury. This country has made basic survival feel like a crime. And the punishment is stress that never ends. People already wake up behind, already in debt, already exhausted before their feet even hit the ground. You're literally in a fight or flight moment from the second that you open your eyes. The moment that you check your bank account, or that little reminder, that notification that pops up telling you how much is in your balance. It's the moment that you realize that you still have 5 days left in the month, but you only have 2 days worth of money in your account still. And they call that normal. But what is normal about living in constant panic? What's normal about your stomach being in knots because you just got an email from your landlord about the rent? Or because your job cut your hours, or because the goddamn eggs went up in price at the grocery store. What's normal about being one accident one sickness, one breakdown away from disaster. And here's the truth that nobody wants to admit. There's no real solutions for the average everyday American anymore. Therapy? That's a luxury for people with good insurance, and most people don't have that. And even if you do, good luck finding an available therapist. The waiting lists are months long, the sessions are short, and half the time, the therapist is just as burned out as you are. So what good is that? You want to talk about medication? Most of the time, that's out of reach, unless you got that kind of money. And even when you can afford it, the system treats you like an addict just because you need some help. And community support? Well, that's been gutted too. Churches are closing. The community centers are underfunded. Extended families are stretched thin. The very networks that used to keep people grounded are being torn apart. And don't get me started on the jobs. These jobs don't cover enough. These jobs don't even cover the basics. You could work 40, 50, 60 hours a week and still be broke. Especially if you're taking care of a family. Especially if you are a provider. You're working all them hours and you still have to choose between the groceries and the rent. Essentially, you're just hustling just to stand still. And the politicians? All they do is argue about culture wars while their people are drowning. While the people who voted for them are suffering. And another thing, they can always find billions for bombs, but never any money for bread. They can always fund the prisons, but they can't fund hope. The machine has no answers because it is the cause itself. So what happens when people are left without solutions? They break silently. Anxiety becomes constant. Depression becomes the baseline. Panic attacks become as normal as breathing. Families start to fracture under this weight. Marriages collapse. Friendships dissolve. Addiction rises. People start to self-medicate with pills, with alcohol, with other drugs. People try to find ways to numb themselves to the fact that they are existing in a society that does not care if they live or die. And the cruelest part of the whole thing is that this system turns around and blames you. It tells you to go meditate, to write in your journal, to drink more water, to do yoga, as if you can stretch your way out of eviction, as if you can breathe your way out of medical debt, as if gratitude would make the groceries cheaper. So no, this isn't a self-help problem. This is a systemic death grip. The truth is, America has abandoned its people. And when a nation abandons a people, the minds of those people begin to rot under the pressure. America talks about freedom, but what freedom is there really if the only thing that is guaranteed is stress, despair, and the slow collapse of your mind? What freedom is there when there are people out here working 2 or 3 jobs just to live in an apartment with no furniture in it? When parents are skipping meals so that their kids can eat? When people have to choose between insulin or rent, heat or food, life or survival? This is not freedom. This is captivity. This is economic slavery dressed up as democracy. And now we're watching the fallout. We are seeing record levels of depression, record levels of anxiety, record levels of self-unaliving. People don't even announce it anymore. They just quietly disappear. The burden is just too heavy. The silence is too loud. The hopelessness is too deep. And we are literally watching an entire generation lose faith in the future. Young people don't dream anymore. They just survive. Middle-aged people are just collapsing under the weight of the bills. The elders are working until death because retirement is a fantasy. It's not because humans are failing. It's because the system was designed to break them. This is America's great shame. The richest nation in the world where people can't even afford their own mind. And the saddest part, there's not even any more illusions of a solution. The average person knows that deep down, that no politician, no corporation, no government, no program is coming to save them. And that is why despair is rising. That is why the mental health in this country is collapsing. Because the only thing that this country offers is to work harder, when working harder is what broke us in the first place. That's what got us here, to being burnout. That is the core of the crisis, that we just don't have anything else left to give. So what happens next? We're watching it unfold already. People are starting to disconnect from society. More people are dropping out of the system entirely. More people are breaking publicly, are acting out publicly because they've been left with no way to cope. Others suffer quietly, just living day by day, living lives of quiet desperation, holding in the screams, pretending that they're fine while they crumble on the inside. But you can't hide this forever. A mental health crisis this big becomes a social crisis, and the social crisis becomes a political crisis, and the political crisis becomes a collapse. That's where we're heading. That's the truth that nobody wants to face. So here's the message. If you're struggling right now, you are not weak. You are not broken. You are not lazy. You are living in a system that is designed to crush you. A system that profits off your despair, off your exhaustion, off your silence. The mental health crisis in America isn't an accident. It's a byproduct. It's what happens when you treat human beings like disposable labor, when you raise the cost of living beyond reach, when you strip away these safety nets and replace them with slogans. This is not weakness. This is the predictable collapse of the human mind under inhumane conditions. And until that truth is faced, this crisis will only get worse. So no, America is not okay. The people in America are not okay. The smiling faces, the filtered pictures, the small talk. It's all a mask over the reality that everyone here is hanging on for dear life. And the question that should terrify the people that are in power is this: what happens when everybody snaps? Because when the mind has nothing left to lose, when the spirit has been pushed past the point of breaking, people just don't suffer anymore. They act. They do something about it. And that's the storm on the horizon that America refuses to see.
Woo! My man cooked breakfast, lunch, and dinner with that one. Whew. Real words, real talk. But y'all know we about at that time of the show for them curtains to close. But you know, I don't let y'all leave up out of here on no negative note. You know, I got to send y'all on your way with some smiles. You know, come in this house happy. You got to leave this house happy. That's just how I do it around here. But don't forget to go ahead and smash that like button. Maybe leave me a little comment or something. Help push this channel along. It's a small action for y'all, but it really is a big help for me. Without further ado, let's get some giggles on.
Welcome.
You okay?
Yeah. Not handle.
Oh, shit.
Pull me downstairs.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for spending a little time with me again. I really, really, really appreciate it. But don't forget, y'all, man. Keep your eyes open. Keep your ears peeled. Keep that head on a swivel. Because this is just a big old world with a big old stage full of actors. I love y'all. We'll see you again on the next one. Peace out.
Kingdom last year when it was leaked to the media.